got a piece of paper and a pencil, all glad and excited, and sat down and wrote, Miss Watson, your runaway nigga Jim is down here 2 miles below Parksville, and Mr. Phelps has got him, and he will give up for the reward if you send. Huck Finn. I felt good, and all washed clean of sin for the first time I'd ever felt so in my life. And I know that I could pray now, but I didn't do it straight off, but I laid the paper down and sat there thinking how good it was all this happened, and how near I came to being lost and going to hell. And went on thinking, and got to thinking over our trip down the river, and I see Jim before me all the time, in the day and in the nighttime, sometimes in the moonlight, sometimes storms, and we are floating along, talking and singing and laughing, but somehow I couldn't seem to strike no place with the heart of me against him, but only the other kind. He was so grateful, and said I was the best friend old Jim ever had in the world, and the only one he's got now. And then I happened to look around and see that paper. It was a close place. I took it up and held it in my hand. I was a-trembling because I've got to decide forever betwixt two things, and I knowed it. I studied a minute, sort of holding my breath, and then says to myself, all right then, I'll go to hell, and tore it up.
I went to go vote once. There was this free nigger out there from Ohio. And the latter, most of a white man, the whitest shirt you've ever seen, and the shiniest hat. He had a gold watch and chain and the silver-headed cane. They said he was a professor in college, and he could talk all kinds of language, and that ain't the worst. They said he could vote. When they told me there was a state in this country where they allowed niggas to vote, I said I'll never vote again.
I'll never vote as long as I live.
Hey, come back here! No! Come back here!
Didn't I give you the letter?
What letter?
The one yesterday, from the post office.
I didn't get no letter.
Then... Oh, I must have forgot it.
Who's your friend?
I don't know.
Oh no, he's dead! I know he's dead!
In this scene, Uncle Silas is going to take Jim back to the cabin. He's going to chain him and give him nothing but bread and water to eat. He might beat him, cuss at him, or maybe even lynch him.
Don't be no rougher on him than you're obliged to, because he ain't a bad nigger. When I got to where I found the boy, I see I couldn't cut the bullet out without some help, and he weren't in no condition for me to leave to go and get help. And he got a little worse, and after a long time he went out of his head and wouldn't let me come anigh him anymore.
If you chalk my raft, I'll kill you.
No end of wild foolishness like that, and I see I couldn't do anything at all with him, so I says,
I got to have help.
and the minute I says it, out crawls this nigger from somewhere and says,
I'll help.
And he done it too, and done it very well. So there I had to stick plumb until daylight this morning, and I never seen a nigger that was at a better nuss or faithfuler, and yet he was risking his freedom to do it, and he was all tired out too, and I see plain enough he'd been worked hard lately. I like the nigger for that, I tell you. Gentlemen, a nigger like that is worth $1,000, and a kind treatment too.
Huck disguises as a girl to go talk to townswoman in order to see if anything has been going on lately.
So what might your name be?
Sarah Williams.
And where might you live?
In Hookerville. I stopped 2 miles below here in a farm. That's what makes me so late. My mother is sick and down. She is out of money. I come here to look for my Uncle Abner Moore.
Take off your bonnet.
No, ma'am. Did you hear about that one boy, Huck Finn, who was killed? Who done it?
Well, I reckon there's a right smart chance some people here would like to know who killed him. Some think it was old Finn himself.
Is that so?
But before night, they changed around and blamed it on the runaway slave Jim. He left that night, the same night Huck was killed. There's a reward out for him, $300, and a reward out for old Finn too, $200.
Around, just hop out of the wigwam and carry on a little. Fetch a howl or two like wild beasts. I reckon they'll light out and leave you alone.